So those are ways to dive into this. And now let's look at the science. This is the technique that they're using in this scientific approach that's been proven in the workforce for decades to be effective, is pivoting towards values, intentionally creating an emotional world. Instead of just being reactive, we're going to make an intentional, proactive, emotional world that you have control over. You can control that. You just can't control the reactive emotional self. So that's what ACT is focusing on. Now, more to understand, emotions themselves are contagions. It takes a few seconds to catch another emotion. It's like, how many of you have seen somebody cutting some food and then suddenly they cut themselves and you just react with them like, ouch, I don't want that to happen. Or you see a commercial where somebody's like sniffling and you start to sneeze, and they've documented like when one person yawns, how long it takes for somebody else to yawn. These are all things that we connect with each other so much that we catch each other's emotions, and it takes a fraction of a second. So it's contagious, but it can last for a few minutes, or it can last up to 5 days for us to catch the weight of somebody's emotions. So very critical thing to be using this tool within groups, because we network, we pass them to each other through our vagal nervous system that communicates emotions through our face, through our body, through our systems. So we can't hide these things. So if we cultivate them and cultivate a lot of proactive emotions, we're going to be in a good space. You're going to be in a great space scientifically. So flocking is the other thing that we do. Flocking, we've heard of fight and flight. Now here's another one, flocking. Now, I live in a rural area. And so when you're driving along and then suddenly one deer in a flock puts up their head, then all of the other ones stop. And then when that deer gets up and runs, they all run in the same direction. They never go, "Huh," and one goes running off in a different direction. They all flock together. And unfortunately, there's a story that exemplifies this. There were two floors of the same company in one of the World Trade Center towers. The plane had already hit one of the World Trade Center towers. And unfortunately, the leadership of the top floor said, everything's fine. It's just one of those drills, just an accident that happened in that other tower over there. It had happened in 1993, a few years ago. So don't be worried. Just keep working, stay at your desks. Everything's fine. And then the second floor, the lower floor, one of the leaders put on his racing shoes, his running shoes, and got up and said, everybody out, this is terrorism, we got to get out of here now. And everyone on that floor, 81 souls, got up and got out of that building and started down the stairwell, and were all saved. The difference was that they flocked together. One floor heard the message of danger, get out, and they followed the leader out the door because they were flocking together in the response to a major explosion from the other building. And the other floor flocked together and stayed. Everything was safe according to their leaders, and so they stayed. So it can have tragic consequences. It can have positive consequences. So intentionally creating where you want to go ahead of time is very important, because when that time comes, you'll all move together in the same direction. It's an instinct that we have as humanity. So creating proactive emotional worlds focused on values is critical ahead of time, because you can't do it in the moment. So the science, the benefits are 5 times more powerful when you do it together. If you just do this proactive work by yourself, it's not nearly as effective as it when you could do it together with a huge group of people. A huge group of people pulling together is so much more powerful than just one guy on the other side. And even pulling kind of rhythmically in sync, you'll be able to create rhythms of power and strength that is going to be unstoppable. Again, you'll see higher job satisfaction, fulfillment in your job, stress resilience, high performance, innovation, all of those things on an even more magnified level when you can do this together. So it's a very powerful tool to be able to do this in groups, in teams.